Alright, Professor Jim Schultz here for my Finance 311 students. I wanted to go ahead and shoot another video here from Chapter 7. This is going to be on, let's scroll down a little bit. This is going to be on number 33 from your textbook, another practice problem that you had at your disposal to get ready for our next celebration of knowledge, which is coming up very quickly. And so this is a very standard, very plain vanilla non-constant growth problem or variable growth problem. This is something that you absolutely will see on the celebration, and so you're going to want to make sure you know how to do this problem correctly. And so again, if you have the 5 steps in your notes, that's what the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 correspond to in this section of the problem. And so let's go ahead and get started. So you're given all this information about the company in the question stem. So you know that the abnormal growth rate or the supernormal growth is going to be 20% for 3 years, and then it's going to level off to a constant 12% after that. The company just paid a dividend of 35 cents, and the required return is 13%. Alright, so then you would proceed to move through your 5 steps. Your first step is finding the dividends during the abnormal growth period, which is 1, 2, and 3. Right, so then we find D1, D2, and D3. Right, and again, it's just simply equal to the preceding dividend times 1 plus G. So that gives us these 3 numbers right here. These are our 3 dividends, 1, 2, and 3. And then step 2 is you've got to take those dividends that you just found, and you've got to find the present value of each one of those guys, right? So for each one of these lines, I'm using the equation present value is equal to future value divided by 1 plus I raised to the n, right? So you see that formula repeated 3 times to find these 3 present values. And the only tricky part here is, of course, remembering that your n does indeed change because, you know, your first dividend is 1 period away, so you have to discount at 1 period. Your second dividend is 2 periods away, so you have to discount that 2 periods, and 3 and 3, and so on if there had been a 4, 5, 6, and outward. Step 3 is to find the stock price just before constant growth. And again, for this context, constant growth begins in period 4, so just before constant growth would be the end of period 3, so that would be this point on the timeline. That is why we're looking for P3 right here. So P3 is going to be equal to D4 divided by I minus G, or R minus G as we're writing it this semester in this class. And so this is going to be, you got to first find your D4, which is going to be your D3, which is 0.605, which was right here, times 1 plus G, and your new G, of course, is 12%. So times 1.12, so that gives you 0.678, so just under 68 cents. And then you take that 0.678 and you divide that guy by R minus G. That is your 0.13 minus 0.12, so you get $67.80 as the expected stock price in period 3. You then need to proceed to step 4, where you have to discount this price back to present value, because remember, we're bringing everything back to this point in time. This price is actually here on the timeline, right? So I need to bring it back here. So again, I'm going to use my present value equals future value divided by 1 plus I raised to the n, right? And that's going to give you $46, and it looks like 99 cents. The solution got cut off a little bit here, but I'm pretty sure that's $46.99. And so then step 5 is simply adding up your present values, which are these 3 numbers and this guy. So that gives you a stock price of $48.18 today. So that is how you solve number 33 in Chapter 7.